We are in Kerala at the Che International Chess Festival and the special match between Nihal Sarin and Praggnanandhaa. The score is 3.5, 2.5 in the favor of Pragg, and we have the 4 knights in e4, e5, and knight takes d4, bishop b4. This is known as a very solid weapon to play as white, and Nihal right now, although with 1 point deficit, is doing pretty well because he won the 5th game, then drew the 6th. Let's see how the game continues here. He plays his pawn to h3. Pragg pushes his pawn to c6. And Nihal brings his queen out to f3. Now rook e8 played. All this is very standard. And Nihal now goes knight e2, which is not a very common way to play. The much more common way is to move your bishop to f4 or g5. But knight e2, and now Pragg starts to think, because it seems like it's not in his prep. And whenever a top player sees that a move is not in their prep, they try to refute it somehow. And he finds the best move, knight d7. What a nice move. The knight is coming to e5 to win one of the bishops. And this being an open position, the bishops will do much better than the knights. Let's see how Nihal Sarin now reacts to it. He can, for the time being, play bishop f4. And then with knight e5, he can give up his bishop there for the knight. That is possible. He starts to take a bit of time. He plays his bishop to f4. And Pragg can now go knight e5. He can also play queen to f6. Overall, his position looks pretty good. 2 minutes 28 seconds for Nihal. 2 minutes 41 seconds for Praggnanandhaa. Both of them amazing talents. And it's a wonderful match that the government of Kerala has managed to put together here. And Pragg is thinking. All the games prior to this can be found on the ChessBase India channel with commentary there. Knight e5 played. Now this is attacked here. Actually, bishop h7 can be played because after king takes h7, queen h5 check, king g8, bishop e5. This is quite a complicated position. Although after queen e7, the knight is hanging. You need to play f4. The variations get very, very complex. This is hanging. This is hanging. You take here. I take here. And queen is hanging here. So you have to first take the queen. And meanwhile, I can take here. And then the position would be around equal. And this is all the calculation that Nihal is doing for now. With bishop takes h7 in his mind. Will he take here bishop h7? Will he take on e5? What will he do? Because these are the two moves that make sense. He goes down on the clock. He takes on e5, the more safe approach, but also the one where Praggnanandhaa does not have to calculate much. Rook a to d1 played. And now you can see that these pawns are a little soft with the knight coming to d4, can attack them, but they are also very, very strongly placed in the center. Also, the two bishops make a lot of sense now. How is Pragg going to continue? He has 30 seconds more on the clock. One idea is to play bishop to c5. The other one is to try and somehow get these pawns rolling. I'm not so sure how. Praggnanandhaa thinking here and brings his bishop to c5, finds the move. It's amazing how accurate this youngster is. Knight d4 is stopped, so c3 played by Nihal. Also a calm little move. And Pragg now gets his bishop to d7, trying to get his a8 rook into the game. Go rook d2. And Pragg is now thinking for his next move. He pushes his pawn to a5, which is a nice little move. He can gain space with a4. Also, rook b8 later can make b2 into a weakness. And Nihal is 1 minute 10 seconds on the clock. He needs to find the next moves. He plays his rook to d1. And now the f2 point is a little bit soft. So you could go rook e6 to f6, trying to put pressure here. That is possible. Nihal is thinking here. And Pragg goes queen to b6. He keeps up the pressure on f2, also keeps up the pressure on the b2 pawn. But you can see that white has a strong idea up his sleeve, which is the c4 breakthrough. And this is something that Nihal would be thinking about, and he plays it. Pawn to c4. Pragg doubles down the e-file. Now there's pressure here. There's also rook e1 check that could come in if the knight moves. 42 seconds for Nihal. The position is boiling up, but the time is running low for the players. He goes with his knight to c3. But now, is there a check that can be given on e1? Is it possible? d4 would be a positional mistake because of knight a4. And so Pragg is posed with quite a difficult problem here. He goes check. So Nihal again waits because he can take the rook. He can also choose not to take it. He takes, rook takes, and now bishop f1 is one possibility. There's also king h2. Both look fine. 23 seconds for Nihal. Goes king h2. The calmness with which he's making his moves is quite insane. And now Pragg, how is he going to continue here? If you give a check here, I have the move g3. So it's not really fatal. 30 seconds for Pragg. 22 seconds for Nihal. We are moving into the time trouble zone. White is quite safe on h2. Pragg plays his bishop to e6. Now Nihal takes, pawn takes. And now he can actually take the pawn. That seems like a nice juicy free pawn that he can capture because there's nothing much happening. Look at Nihal's calmness. He takes it. Knight takes d5, attacking the queen. If queen b8 check, then there is g3. If queen d6 check, there is knight f4. I believe. No, there's g3 there as well because bishop d5. Whoa, there are some tactics now to look here. Check. g3 played. And Pragg is down to lower than Nihal. He plays his pawn to h6. Nihal has to speed up. He plays pawn to a3. Bishop d6 played. And Nihal is now a pawn up. He goes knight f4. But there's bishop takes f4. Queen takes f4. You can trade the queens. But he goes queen a8. Threatening mate in 1. Nihal pushes his pawn. Queen a7. Now threatening here. Rook g2 is forced. Nihal has 2 seconds. 1 second. Oh my god, he loses on time. Insane. I've never seen Nihal like this. Oh my goodness. With this, Praggnanandhaa takes 4.5, 2.5 lead in the match. But that game was so very close.